I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December 22nd. My name is Ron Morris. This is Moving Forward TV, your local Tampa Bay real estate and mortgage update.
And I'm Delynn Gaston. Welcome to a holiday-enhanced hump day, as you can see, this week.
And before we get into the meat of the show, let's go to the comic of the week. Here you go. You gotta love peanuts.
I love Charlie Brown. I love Charlie Brown Christmas. Anyway, we were going to talk, before we get started on the show, we wanted to talk quickly about condos. Last week our show was on condos, and we got a lot of
A lot of feedback, right? A lot of questions.
Good questions,
right.
Good response about that. Some people wanted to know how to find out more information, how much it costs to get their complex
Right.
approved, things like that. So first of all, if you missed last week's show, please check out our archives, and you can watch the show.
tab
A lot
somewhere.
of good information on it. And what I've done is I put a link on the email that you received this show with. There's also a second link there that goes directly to FHA's website, to HUD's website, right to the condo page. So now when you go there, it's going to ask you to, type in the name of the complex that you're interested in looking up, that kind of a thing. But like most technology,
Give them the shortcut.
even if you miss a comma, it's not going to work. So the best way to do it is just put in the zip code. If you just put the zip code
All you
in
need to
only,
do.
hit search, it will pull up all of the FHA approved condo complexes in that zip code.
Correct.
And then you can see if yours is in there or not. That's the best and easiest way to do that.
And
So-
bear in mind, if the condo complex is on that list, that doesn't mean after March 2011 that they're going to still be approved to do FHA financing in there.
Right.
That's what we talked about last week. And again, go to the archive and get more information on that, or email us about
Right.
that as well.
And actually, we'll be happy to email you the article as well
Yeah, right,
that we sent
right.
out. So.
And now for something completely different.
Okay, this week we wanted to talk about the jumbo markets
Right.
and jumbo financing and how the financing is affected by jumbo products. Now, there have been, a few years back, anybody could have gotten a mortgage. There was a lot of stated products. You could have gotten a regular mortgage real easy, and you could have gotten a jumbo mortgage real easy as well.
Just as easy.
And then a few years ago, in the last
Right.
3 years, as all of our lives have changed, jumbo became very, very scarce, and actually what was out there was just downright ugly.
It was very.
So just last 6 months or so, the markets have changed a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still a lot of lenders who will not even lend on jumbo in Florida. We're like the, ugly stepchild
Yeah, we
or
are.
something of the
With
country.
condos and jumbos and
Yes,
some other things as
a
well.
lot of lenders don't want to touch them in the state
Second
of Florida.
homes.
But we have a number of lenders in our bank of lenders who
Right.
are looking at doing jumbos again, and at pretty good rates.
At much more
and
attractive
programs,
rates,
yeah.
right? I know. I recall I had a client a year and a half ago asking me to do a refi on a jumbo loan. This is back when Fannie Mae rates, conforming rates, were in the mid to high fives. Still very attractive rates, not as good as today, but they were very
Right.
attractive. And I remember pricing a handful of jumbo loans, and they were in the 7 to 8% range, which it was very embarrassing to even quote that to the client, but that's what they were. Now, I know a lot of that had to do with Wall Street, and they weren't buying those mortgages on Wall Street. It was
Right.
kind of in the middle of the mess that we've all
Right.
been living through. But probably 6 months or maybe a little bit longer than that, they're buying them again on Wall Street, and now the rates are much more competitive. I know I just quoted one gentleman, it was a $1.4 million refi on a 7-1 ARM, was in the low fours.
Low fours?
At the time, that was what conforming rates
On
are.
over
Rates-
$1 million.
Yeah,
Which brings
that's
up
right.
a good point. With the jumbos, how they work is the higher the loan amount, $1 million to like $1.5 million,
Right.
we might be able to do 80% financing on. The higher you go, though, up to $3 million, it's going to start lowering
Right.
your loan to value. Not that somebody who's buying a $3 or a $5 million
They
house,
don't need 3.5% down?
they don't necessarily, LTV is not a problem for
Right.
them, but it's just so that they know. 80%
Right.
is what we can get right now, 75 to 80, and that's on second homes as well,
Right,
on some
correct.
jumbo products. So it's a great product to have, and if
And
you
just
guys
keep
have
in
them out
mind,
there-
with the jumbo product, just like Delynn said, the higher your loan amount, the lower your loan to value is.
Right.
And also the credit score requirements are much
That's
higher
right.
than a conforming loan as well. And as an example, I think I had mentioned a gentleman that I was trying to help with a mortgage. There's actually a difference, at least with some lenders, if you're self-employed or if you're employed. Matter of fact, this
That's
one
right.
lender had a 40-point spread. They needed a 700 credit score. By the way, every lender that I check with too on the jumbo market needed a 700 or higher credit score. I had one lender that would go down to a 660, but if you were self-employed, it had to be a 700. So bear that in mind too. That's part of the equation as well. Higher loan amount, lower loan to value, higher credit score requirements.
Right.
And like you mentioned too, usually the clientele that are buying the $2-3 million homes and higher, they're in a
Down
position
payment's not
to
an
write a
issue.
big check, whether they just don't want to finance that much or whatever the situation is.
Right.
And now for something completely different.
I wanted to talk about why it's time to get off the fence, why buyers should not be on the fence. The last 2 weeks have been a prime example of why you should not be waiting around for values to drop. 2 weeks ago, our interest rates were in the low 4s. Today, we're borderline 5%. So we've had almost a 1% increase in interest rate in 2 weeks. And as we mentioned in previous shows, rates tend to go up faster than they come down. So your purchasing power is not going to be the same today than it was 2 weeks ago. Okay, rates are around 5% today or thereabouts. What are they going to be 2 weeks from now? Get off the fence. For your buyers out there, now's the time before these rates keep going up. We don't have a crystal ball today. Not that it tells me what it is anyway, but it's time to get off the fence and get out there and buy a home.
Absolutely. Ron and I have been working on some numbers, taking a look at a buyer who has maybe a $60,000 a year income to see what his purchasing power is. Assuming some debt ratio, assuming some taxes and insurance, a person who makes $60,000 a year is approximately 2 weeks ago anyway, when our interest rates were around 4.25%, he could buy, let's say, up to about $240,000 in a home. Today, fast forward, our interest rates are hovering right around 5% now. Now that same buyer can only buy about $220,000. So he's lost $20,000 in purchasing power, which is about a 9 or a 10% drop in what he can buy.
And our point is, for every 1% increase in interest rate, you're losing purchasing power between 8 and 10% as a general rule. Now, we're in around 5% right now,
Right.
give or take a little bit one way or the other. What's going to happen when it goes to 6%? Which I don't think is out of reason.
It's not. It's absolutely not. We were talking about this. For an entire decade, the average interest rate for all of the 2000s here.
It's like the mid-6s,
Right.
actually.
And before that, all during the 90s,
The
it was
eights.
between 7.5% and 8.5%.
Right.
And you know what? The country did just fine. So it's not unusual if we see these interest rates go back up into the 6% range. It's not surprising at all. So that same $60,000 a year salaried person loses another. So now
Well,
we're
now
down
they're
to
at a $200,000 home instead of a
home.
$240,000 home. So it's a big difference.
And we're talking a
Get
difference
off
of,
the fence!
do you want a garage? Because at $240,000, you can buy a house with a garage today, a 3-car garage. If the interest rates keep going up the way they're going up, there goes your garage. You get more house today. Stop waiting for the prices to go down if you want to get that nice house. It's time to get off the fence. Okay, on to our movie challenge for this week, and I think last week's was way too easy because we had a lot of people
correct
chime
answers.
in with Monty Python and the Holy Grail, or maybe we just have a lot of people who are very, very warped like we are.
Are you guys in real estate or something?
I think so. But the big winner who chimed in first was Chris Meyer from Keller Williams. Congratulations on those movie tickets. So this week, get this line, email us, and let us know, and you too can win some movie tickets. Here it is.
He's an angry elf. He's an angry elf.
Another great movie and an easy one,
And
I
a
think I will
timely
add.
one,
So make
too.
sure you email it in quickly. We've moved our emails. They're up on top now. So email real quick what the title was on that one. Also, while you're there, check out our sponsors. On this side, our video link on that
Over there.
side.
I know the
We've got-
blog is down below,
and
so
blog us
us
down below.
Forward the show to anybody that you feel like would
Please,
benefit from it.
Forward. Twitter, Facebook, we're on all of those as well. We've got
Don't
great
understand it,
social-
but apparently we're there.
Yeah, we have a great social network set up. So with that, we wanted to say to everyone,
Happy Hanukkah, even though I know it's over, but enjoy. Hopefully that went well for everybody, myself included.
Merry Christmas to everyone coming up in a couple of days here. And we wanted to say have a happy and safe New Year.
Absolutely.
With that, we are
Moving forward, see everybody in 2 weeks.
bye-bye.